Hey guys, welcome back. It's myself, Allegra Jackson, the founder of Women into Networking WIN, with Mrs. Lorri Kipnis. She's not a miss, okay? She's fully married, whole
Oh
husband.
yeah.
And we're back for the Winedown and WIN Wednesdays with ONEHOPE Wine. And Lorri is our rep for our WIN fundraiser for this month. Now we tasted the wines for a couple of episodes in this series. Now today I'm going to be showing you guys something new. We tasted them and I got inspired because you know how I felt about the first sip. Go back to the replay if y'all didn't catch it. I fell in love, and then I turned around and I signed up as a wine rep as well under Lorri. I wanted to not only find out more about the wines and ONEHOPE and support their mission, but I also wanted to consistently have wines in my in my my cooler, my wine cooler.
He wants
So
to be well supported.
I just want to have a stock of wine. So this is amazing. I get to share this with you all today for just opening up my new box that just came today, so it's right on time. So thank you, Lorri, for bringing this to the WIN, supporting us with the fundraiser, and also we'll be sharing the link in the comments for you all as we're having this discussion today because it's all about sip, strategize, and soar today. We're talking about overthinking, imposter syndrome, and we're going to be sipping on some wine while we're doing it. But I'm also going to, let Lorri shout out what I'm pulling out of this box, this kit that I just received today. Lorri, please introduce yourself before we get started, and let's go.
Sure thing. So my name is Lorri Kipnis. I'm in New Jersey. I am a ONEHOPE wine rep. I've been doing it for about 4 years. I am also, as Allegra just mentioned, I'm very definitely married. I'm married almost 44 years. I have 2 grown daughters and 3 little adorable grandchildren. So I am a very happy person. They make me smile all the time, those little ones. And when I retired from my prior career, which is in pharmaceutical sales, I was looking for something to do to sort of pay forward that I am a very lucky person. And I found ONEHOPE. I love their mission that everything we do gives back to nonprofits of your choice. And it's been in business for 17 years now. We're a Napa Valley winery, like just make sure everybody realizes that, an award-winning Napa Valley winery, and that we've donated over $11 million to over 50,000 nonprofits worldwide. So why not sip and give back at the same time? You're going to drink wine, it might as well do good.
Right. That's what I felt. I felt the same way. So that's why I signed up. And you guys can all sign up under Lorri. Like, seriously, it's like free wine. And it feels so good to have. But also, if you are like me, my biggest advantage, Lorri, I felt, was that I owned a bartending company for years. I mean, I used to do wine tastings for my clients, for companies that hired us. I was able to kind of stem off of my bartending background, and we did wine tastings all of the time because we actually had a extended wine list. So I was able to increase, I think at a young age, my palate on what I liked, what I didn't like when it came to wine. It didn't just taste like alcohol after a while. And then I found out how to pair it and do all those things. So now, I get to actually combine the love of what I used to do in with our nonprofit support system. So this is amazing. Lorri, as I open this, can you tell us what's in here? Because I think I'm going to be flabbergasted.
I can probably discuss some of it. I know the kit's a little different right now, so I may have to see some of it.
Okay.
But I will tell everybody, just so they know, we are doing a special this month. That's when Allegra joined. So right now this month, our normal join kit is $199, and it's only $79 this month. And you will start to see what comes with it as Allegra starts to open it, if the box doesn't fall out of her lap.
This thing is huge. I'm like, how am I supposed to do this? So when you open it, first of all, they do give you, this is super cute, first of all, okay? A little welcome card, doing good, tastes great. And they give you some goodies inside. So I love that. Very intentional about giving you nice things.
I want to let you know that every shipment, when they send an invoice with somebody, it does come in a bill fold. It comes in that folder like that. So that's
Wow.
usually in almost every box. Sometimes, yes, things get a little crazy, but almost every box I've gotten has had that in it, whether it's just a regular shipment of wine, my wine club, whatever.
Yeah, there are actually like boxes inside of boxes in here. That's so cool. So this must be the kit. So they give you a full kit. So it's a tasting kit.
Yeah, so that's all paperwork for when you do host a party, is information in there. There's some order forms. There's going to be some booklets to use for a wine tasting. There's going to be some little introductory cards. We have also to give out cards about joining. We give out cards for if somebody wants to host a wine tasting. So samples of all of those things would be there in your kit.
I love that because I like to be prepared. The one thing I can't stand is asking if there's like information that I can just naturally share about the company. They give it everything to you guys up front. So that's amazing. Here's something else. What's this?
That's probably the goodies for you because you lifted it too easily. It can't be the wine.
I like goodies. Okay. So these is slipping, y'all. Slipping. Okay, hold on.
Be careful. We don't want to drop the wine that's in that box.
Right. What is this?
Okay, there should be a tote bag in there.
Oh,
And
y'all,
it's
this is so cute. Hold on, let me put this down.
Put the big box down.
So, first of all, this is the cutest thing. I love it because you have this box, which it's like hidden secrets in there.
Mm-hmm.
So they're giving you a wine glass. So you have your
own personal wine glass.
Wine. Signature wine glasses. I love a champagne glass. Listen, get out of there. Not my stuff. Champagne. I love this. This is so cute. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's so cute.
Oh, it's like opening it. It's like Christmas morning.
Like Christmas, y'all. And we did a raffle where you guys, Lorri, you sent us a champagne. Is this the same one?
It's the same stopper. Yep.
I was going to keep
it. You got one too.
I was going to keep it. And I said, no, Lord, I'm going to bless somebody. Okay. And we gave it away with the main character or the main character energy.
Main character energy bottle.
Ooh.
So that is a wine stopper for your sparkling wines, because for anybody who doesn't realize it, you cannot put a cork back into a sparkling wine
cannot
bottle, and you can't put a regular wine stopper in it because it will pop out. So this helps keep the carbonation in those bottles, so the wine will hold on longer.
That's special. There's more.
And you should definitely, there should be a bag in there.
There's more stuff in here. What is this?
That's going to be a bottle opener. A little wine key.
Oh, this is a cute wine key. It's sturdy. Oh, I like it. Okay, I'm going to hold on to that and put that to the side. And then I want to make sure this is not going to make a mess. So let me pull it out.
Oh, yeah, be careful pulling the bag out. It's a great tote bag. It's what I use when I go do wine tastings. Because what we say, other than the wine, everything else can fit in one shopping bag. And usually I'll send the wine to the host, so I don't even have to carry that. So I just show up with a shopping bag. And that's all I have to carry when I go do a wine tasting. So it's very simple. And that is the bag I use.
Oh, I like this.
It is it holds so much.
And it has leather straps.
Mm-hmm. And it's very sturdy.
This is nice, you guys. Okay, so when you become a ONEHOPE wine rep under Lorri, y'all, you get all of your goodies. Like I just got mine. That's amazing. And I wasn't even done. Like that's amazing because you get, direction and gifts. But they also sent some wine, y'all.
Yes. This should be
This is the first one I drank. Remember, I was like, yes, it's good. And then it was gone the next day. Oh, they sent more wine.
There should be 3 bottles.
Oh, my goodness. Absolutely 3 bottles. Look at that.
You got a red, a white, and a sparkling.
And the Brut sparkling. Okay, and I still have a couple of the other bottles that I have on order that I want to make sure I get, because we went through that box, y'all. We are done, and we have a wine tasting coming up on the 25th, I believe, of April. So, Lorri, can you tell us real quick before we get into it, because I'm going to start pouring my red wine. I'm going to have to order another one. I'm sorry, okay? Wait, hold on a second.
I do want to... I don't want to interrupt you talking to your mom. You just froze, at least to me. So I'll just throw out, if everybody can hear me, that in addition to all the stuff that Allegra got in that box, there's also a coupon in the box.
Okay, sorry.
Okay,
Can you see me?
Yeah, now we can. There's one more thing in the box that is actually like a coupon, and that's for a free host kit, which is basically what I sent you for the wine tasting. It would be a credit for 6 bottles. It may not be an actual coupon in there. It's just maybe something that'll show up in your back office, but it does come with a free host credit.
Okay. So I'm definitely going to be looking out for that.
And that's good for you to do your first wine tasting with. You don't have to worry about the wine. Just, it's a host credit, 6 bottles of wine for you to share with some new people and get some new customers.
And, you know, Lorri, I was waiting for this because I'm like, okay, because I already had in the back of my head, our corporate sponsor here in Atlanta, LaShawna West, she actually is absolutely amazing. And she has a Pop Up and Create location that I partner with. That location is a content creation studio, but I've done workshops there, podcasting. We've done events there. And so what I will probably do is my first wine tasting for one of our upcoming maybe get-togethers, and we'll do like a wine and win event where we'll actually have you guys come to the Pop Up and Create location here in Atlanta. Now that may not, that's not going to be virtual, y'all. This is the virtual that we're talking about with Lorri, but I'm just saying this is a great opportunity for us at WIN to give all of you guys in the community a taste of ONEHOPE wine wherever you are. Now, they do have to order their bottles now in order to make the virtual wine tasting, right?
Yeah, I would definitely grab your bottles now because we're talking about doing it on the 25th. And that will give you enough time for the wine to get pretty much anywhere. So I would order them now. And I'm going to throw out to everybody, we have this really great, I know we posted it in a couple of the WIN groups, but we're doing this mystery sale right now. So it's a 6-pack of wine that most of you haven't tasted our wines yet. It's not going to make a difference which ones they are, but it's going to be assortment, and it'll be sparkling reds and whites, maybe rosé. And it normally was about $179. So it was 25% off. It was $132. But as of today, they just made an announcement that every box is going to have at least one of our $60 bottles of white in it as an upgrade, as like an Easter egg hunt kind of special. And some of the boxes will also have a possibility of a $100 iconic red, which would make that bottle worth even more. So now the boxes are all worth about $215. And I figured out the discount, you're talking about saving over 40% on those 6 bottles of wine. So it's a really good time to try to grab those 6 bottles, $132. And some of them are award-winning, 90-point plus wines. They're all from Napa. What else can I tell you? I will also tell you, when you do go in there, if you are a first-time ONEHOPE customer, if you're buying the 6-pack, we do have a code and it will show up on the website that says save 10. And anybody who's for the very first order, as long as you're buying a minimum of 6 bottles, you can get another 10% off. So that $132 can now come down to 118 something. Now we're talking probably even closer to like 42, 43% off for those 6 bottles. I mean, even if you don't need all 6 bottles, you can certainly use them for a gift at that price. So it really is a great deal. Absolutely. Every now and then we have things like that is so worth taking advantage of. So and we will probably be, there'll probably be one or two
I
wines that
love
we
it.
will.
And you're always giving us the good deal.
I always look for the best way for people to save money when I'm doing these things, how we can work it. This is your best way to save. I mean, our wine club's a great deal too, but for that first shipment, do this. We could talk about the wine club after you've tasted the wines and see what you like.
Absolutely. And see, you know, and I'm going to drop the link to the fundraiser, because we got to get you guys the link to the fundraiser so you can actually participate. The virtual wine tasting, and I'm right now tasting the Field to Table red wine blend. We had this last time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And me and my mom, and I actually have a review for you, Lorri, because my mom and I were drinking together after we finished the live stream. And I told my mother, I said, you know, how do you like it? And she gave a testimony. It was hilarious. And it was just speaking to the quality of the wine and the it's just so good. So I want to talk a little bit today too about a couple things we said, because we are talking about, you know, Winedown and WIN Wednesdays, even though we have the virtual fundraiser coming, virtual tasting coming up. You guys can prepare for that. But one thing I want to wind down about is talking about how we can empower ourselves by overcoming things like overthinking, self-sabotaging behaviors. These are things that I believe before we started this live stream, I was telling Lorri, you know, I think that these are things that are constantly going to happen, because as women, we are always growing and, you know, evolving, and things are going to come up, right? Like we literally have, what I say, been in corporate for 50 years. We're now at the forefront of business. That's like, everything is weird, you know? So we're taking care of everybody and everything. So when I think about overthinking, I was actually thinking about it for myself, Lorri, even the last couple of weeks, because there was so much going on in my life, from, you know, the meetup to my birthday to my family, you know, everything that's happening. Sometimes things can feel more overwhelming than it is because you're so in your head about it. I personally have found that there are some ways that I have like utilize tools to support me in helping me kind of grow in those areas where I'm not that strong, where I do overthink. But I think this is a commonality between women entrepreneurs, because we do deal with a lot. What do you think about that?
I think I definitely agree. And I especially think it's even harder for women and entrepreneurs who are also young moms, because no matter what anyone says, raising children still falls mostly on mom's shoulders. So you're adding that into the mix, because I know I don't have children living home anymore. I just have my grandchildren. But I did run a small business when I just had young children home, because I wasn't working at home and I was looking for something to do. And I did my own children's gift business at that time. But it was always making sure I was doing it around my kids. And that was always what came first. And, you know, could only go so far. And then it became, you know, okay, eventually then I went right back into the regular workforce and gave up the concept of entrepreneurial stuff at that time in my life. And now I'm going back to that. But I definitely find that I tend to overthink a lot, because I'm always worrying about what's everybody else thinking about what I'm doing. Am I imposing on them? Am I, you know, it's one of these things, I think, especially when you're running a business that is a direct marketing business. I'm always thinking, like, does everybody think all I'm doing is asking them about business? And I think it's more in my head than it's what's really happening. So I'm always worried about it, because I mean, you have no problem letting everybody know and typing and recommending all over social media what you bought in Nordstrom's or what you got on Amazon and how much you love that. Well, really, what's the difference about talking about something you got from a friend who's selling it directly? And it's a small business that's making the money because it's your friend.
Yes. I just want to say that you hit something so pivotal for me, because I say it all the time. I'm like, I'm always talking about the things I love. Like, and these are brands that they're not paying me to talk about them, but how often am I showing up for myself, talking about, the things that I do? And I agree with you. I've actually had those same situations where overthinking came from a bunch of things. Number one, I know I have ADD, so there's some things like physically in me that I always have to check, right? Like I think sometimes we, kind of go through these phases in our lives and we're like, and I'll just figure it out. Until one day I was like, maybe I can't just handle it and just figure it out. Maybe physically I have to do to change the dynamics of how I'm overthinking. And I will tell you, Lorri, one thing that happened was that I changed my entire diet. And I don't know if this is something that, anyone else has experienced, but having that clear mind came more from me drinking more water and having oxygen up there, being able to eat the foods that my body was receiving well. So I had more energy and I wasn't like beaten when I got tired. So those are the things that kind of came up for me when you were speaking, because I think it's true that we all overthink. Like nobody is, no one is perfect, and no one, figures everything out on their own. So sometimes we can get in our own heads, but I love the fact that we do have control over how we deal with these things when we start to overthink. Another thing was from a physical standpoint, right? Because I think that there's more than just one component to it, but you have to look at your life as a whole pie. And I was like, do I need to do something in a life pie? And for me, that was prayer and meditation. Because when I'm overthinking and when things are going crazy, I cannot function. And sometimes it feels like it's beyond me. So using my faith as a tool and saying, well, maybe I don't have to worry so much. I'm just going to give it to God. I ain't going to worry about it today. It has actually given me a lot more ease in situations where I thought I was going to like fall apart.
I think that's almost the same concept when people say you have to let go of the things that you can't control.
So I also want to say this too. Go ahead.
Okay, I think we may be a time lapse here. But no, as I was saying, I also think sometimes a lot of that is we don't realize we need to make sure to let go of what we can't control. Yeah, sometimes we just have to let it, God's going to take care of it. It's going to go the way it's supposed to go, no matter what I do. So I can't change that. So let me just accept the way this is happening, take a step back, take a deep breath, and work on the things I can.
Yep.
Like I found for me.
Yeah, we do have a little time lapse, but that's
okay. I have found for me, the gym does that. I love going and working out in the morning. That gives me as much as sometimes in the morning I do not want to get out of bed and I am dragging. Once I leave the gym, I am feeling so much better and so accomplished that I did it. And that sets a tone for the whole day.
I love that. Now I'm about to log back in because clearly there's a delay here. So I'm going to log back in on my phone as well. So give me a second, y'all. So I just want to make sure you guys can hear us clearly.
I hope you're all enjoying, and I really do look forward to seeing everybody at our virtual wine tasting.
I feel like my phone doesn't give a delay.
Okay, is it better?
Yes, there's no delay. It's so creepy. Okay, thank you for being patient, guys. So, Lorri, I love this, outpouring of just like really understanding that everybody experiences this. Like we all have to kind of utilize our own resources, like, and find out what tools they are. Like for me, I didn't find out what worked for me until I went through that process. And so I think sometimes we forget, like we have to actually get into a place where maybe you feel a little stuck and you don't know what to do. And, you just kind of, like like for me, I think overthinking came from me not really making a choice in a lot of areas of my life. And so if I didn't go through that pain to say like, oh my God, like I never would have realized I was the only one holding myself back. You know, like I would have been blaming everyone for all the things that didn't happen in my life. And it wasn't until I had to come to those crossroads to say, well, why do I feel stuck? And why am I overthinking this? And why am I not making a decision? Um, so yeah, so I think that's why I feel like these conversations, okay, because we're winding down, especially if you had a hard week, guys. I mean, I'm drinking for you, okay? I think we have to make a decision because, and even if you, and here's what I say to everyone: if you've never been given permission to even make a decision, I give you permission right now. Like, just make it. Get unstuck. Go do the things that you know to do. And then, I think the overthinking really does come from this level of imposter syndrome, which we'll kind of end with on this, this wonderful takeaway. But Lorri, how do you feel about what I said when it comes down to like those choices? Because I feel like sometimes people do need permission.
Well, I think with me, a lot of times, what will hold me back a lot when you're saying you're needing permission is the fear that it won't work. That I'm not going to succeed at it. It's not going to be successful. So it's easier to not make the decision and instead of worrying, they talk about an impact of what everybody else is going to think if I don't do it right, and I'm trying to do something that maybe I'm really not good enough to do. And I think what I've learned as I've gotten older is that all experiences are learning experiences. And if you don't try something, you'll never know what you're capable of doing. I think we're getting Allegra back in a minute. There she is.
Doesn't like you, Lorri.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard anything I was just saying. Oh, you're frozen again. There you are again.
Listen, guys. Listen, this is just the worst connection ever. So I'm just going to stay here. Lorri, I heard the beginning of what you were saying. I know we have a little delay here, but we're going to stay here. Okay. But you were, well, we were leading into, like we said, the tools. And I was asking what you think about the process where we, need to get permission. I know that they heard you. I don't want you to have to repeat yourself because you guys heard what Lorri said. But I do want to go into the people pleasing before we, end this live. And guys, make sure that you are ordering your wines, okay? So the imposter syndrome, that is something that I didn't even know about until I think like 2021 or maybe 2019, like right when the pandemic hit. That's when I heard people talking about imposter this, imposter that. And I was like, imposter what? Like, I don't even understand what that is. Until I realized that it meant a lot of different things. But I think for me, what stood out was I related to it because for a long time in my business, I felt like an imposter because I was showing up in ways that I had never shown up before. And it was like my brain was telling me, like, who do you think you are to be a boss and to be around these people? I don't know if you ever experienced that, but I have literally been in rooms where I'm like, who do you think you're standing around these people? You don't even deserve to be here. You haven't done the work yet.
I think some of my experience has been a little different because when I was in pharmaceutical sales, and when I was in sales a lot, I did a lot of training and sometimes was involved with being in charge of certain things and different projects, but being in charge of it without the authority. And that was always one of those things where, who am I to tell them what to do? Why should they listen to me? As much as our boss may have said I'm the one to do it, but why should they be listening to me? Or this person's a lot older than I am and has been doing this longer than I have. Why would they want me to be the one to tell them what to do? But try to realizing that, but I do have the experience and I do have the knowledge, but being very insecure in it and having to step back and say, well, if they're trusting me to do it, then I must be good at it. I must be able to do it. But thinking that these people are just not going to give me the respect, I guess is the right word, because they're going to look at me like, who does she think she is? I know I've taken literally training classes on that. Managing without, I forget what it's called, but it's sort of like managing without the authority. There's actually a training class I took on it.
Whoa! So there's training classes on managing without being bossy.
Without being the manager. There's like a whole thing.
When you talking about this, I actually think it's very interesting because this is a great way to kind of tune down this whole avenue of people feeling like they are an imposter. Because I honestly believe, Lorri, and this is my solution to anyone who feels like, because as women, we always feel like this in different ways, whether it's in your personal life, business life, career, whatever. But at some point in time, you're going to feel like an imposter. And I think it's necessary because after I realized that I related to being an imposter, I started to dig deep. Like I was like, okay, well, what does that mean for me? Because if I have imposter syndrome, how do I not be an imposter? And then it dawned on me, for me, like you're always going to try something new, Allegra. You're always going to do something bigger than what you did before. And every time I do something new and bigger than I did before, it may be something I'm not 100% great at yet, something that I may not fully have learned yet. So, to that capacity into the air, yeah, I'm going to feel like an imposter because there are people in the room that know so much more than me. But then you just brought up something that you are in the position opposite of me on the other end, where you're the leader, the guider, the teacher, the professional that I'm looking at and saying, I don't belong in the room with her. And you're saying, I feel like I'm an imposter, like telling y'all what to do, giving instruction in these ways. And so I think it also brings it home for me that this is constantly a just ever growing just wheel of us learning from each other, not being afraid to actually be an imposter for a little while, because maybe you don't know everything, but being able to be in community around other people and being honest about it. Like, hey, I may not feel like I belong here, and having those connections with people who may feel the same way. I think those conversations may, benefit people if they just open up their mouth and talk about how we are feeling. And just to kind of end that part and give it back over to you, I think that as women, we do need to create an ecosystem for us that allows us to be able to do that more often, talk about how we're feeling, express those feelings, and have a safe space where those feelings are received and, resources are given. But I'll end with that. That's my spiel.
Well, I'm not going to disagree. I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. But I also think at this point, part of it is to sit back and say, you're not being an imposter if you're trying to do something that you may not be the best at yet. You're just trying to get better at it and accept that. But this is something I want to do. This is something I want to be. I'm here. I'm going to do my best. And if you understand that too, that you're not trying to pretend to know more than, you're willing to learn while you're also giving out what you do know. I know one of the, I worked at one point in one of my jobs years ago, I was in IT, and I worked at a company where typically did not promote without being there for years and years. And I literally started there as a systems analyst, and within a few months, as a program analyst, and in a few months, they promoted me to a systems analyst. And a lot of it was because my career before that was in HR. So I could talk to people. It wasn't because of my technical skills. It was my human skills. And as I was saying, this was early in the early 80s. And at that point, most IT people couldn't talk their way out of a paper bag. So I was more of that. But I remember the first time I had to, now I had a team working under me who were older women. I was in my early 20s at this point, and men, and they had been there longer than I had. And it was not, I felt very uncomfortable at first, being like, they're supposed to be listening to me. I'm supposed to be telling them what to do. because why should they listen to me? I'm the little pipsqueak here. I'm the new guy on the block, and I just got promoted over everybody. But sometimes you do have something to offer that they just don't. I said, I could talk to the vice president and tell him, no, your system can't do that. They couldn't do that. And that's what they were looking for. So we have to be willing to try.
I don't know. Make sure this is right. Okay, I had to make sure my thing didn't freeze. So Lorri, I think you made such a great example of just being able to, kind of change the dynamic and the mindset around what we think. Because I did put it out there. I was like, well, listen, it's just imposter syndrome. That's just what it is. And, just deal with it. But I love the dynamics of like, well, what does this really mean? Changing the mindset around how we think about things. So yeah, trying out something new and different, and being able to, be in a place where your skill set fits, I think is so important, because I love how you talked about your human skills. And I'll just end with that note, because sometimes we're so focused on what we are capable of doing, academically or through our accolades and our accomplishments, our skill sets as far as like what work have you done, and but what are your human skills? Like, do you hone in on them and use them to enhance your ability to be unique and different? I love that, Lorri. You really just brought that up for me. So just to kind of end our wind down and WIN Wednesdays, I definitely have, gotten my midweek pleasure here. But you guys make sure you order your bottles. This one is my favorite so far. Okay, the Field to Table. If you guys love red blends, this one gets to the point, honey. I didn't even have a full glass. I had a little bit and I'm already ready to go to sleep. And I think it feels really good. It's so calming, so smooth. And I also just want to emphasize that every single sale that we have with this fundraiser, thanks to Lorri, 10% goes back into WIN. That increases our level of impact in our community for women to have safe spaces so we can get over these things like overthinking and imposter syndrome and be encouraged. Like, we all go through it. It's okay. But we do have to support each other in those spaces so that we feel safe and that we can grow together. Lorri, anything else about people who are really looking to join in on the wine fund? Because I know you have some opportunities that you've, kind of mentioned.
Well, one thing I do want to throw out in terms of the fundraiser, and I think I may have mentioned this on earlier calls, that I got involved with ONEHOPE for the philanthropy and the giving back. I'm at that point in my life where, yes, it's nice to have the extra money, but that wasn't my motivation for this. So for that reason, I will throw out that for every $500 in sales, I will throw in an extra $25 donation personally. So that's just an extra added push out here, guys. Let's get the sales up, because we get that over there, you're going to get an extra 5% on each of those things. It won't just be the 10%. Because I would love to WIN too. So that will be my personal extra donation. But definitely take advantage of the sale. If you're not someone who really wants to get that many bottles, I will also throw out, it's a flat $20 shipping. That is whether you're buying one bottle or 100. So take advantage of it. If you've got a friend right near you and you want to go in together, grab it and buy it and split it. That works too. But definitely, we do have a lot of great wines. It's a great opportunity to try them, and it's going to a great cause. I mean, you're all here because you all want to help and work. You're all looking to support this organization, and this organization has supported you. And if you have any questions about any of it,
thank you so much.
Reach me on Facebook.
Absolutely. Reach out to Lorri. Lorri has been in our Facebook groups. She has been posting in our WIN Fundraiser group as well. We are building that group up so you guys can know exactly when our fundraisers are. Right now, we are actively in the Wine and WIN Fundraiser Raise a Glass to support Women into Networking WIN. And as you all know, because we do support, women in so many different facets, the more that you guys support, like Lorri said, the more impact we have. I had a conversation. My mother said, can you guys be an all-in-one resource for women? I'm like, do you know how much money that takes? So you guys, everything that we do is to really empower the whole self. And we just look forward to bringing more impact in the future. Thank you, Lorri, again. You are so amazing for doing these live streams with me. Absolutely.
Another one
and we will see you guys on the next. There you go. You guys, I'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.